Well, maybe we'll do more. It looks like it's picking up pretty quick here. Nice. Well, look, those of you joining us on the webinar portion, let us know what city, what state, or what country you're from, because I know we get people from Portugal, Australia, South Africa, England, and Canada. Those are our main ones. Oh, and of course, Eric is always on. Boston.
Boston.
It's not Boston, Dan. What the heck?
That's wicked awesome.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's see who we got on here. We got Murrieta. Oh, what's up? That's like my neck of the woods, Miami. That's kind of close to you, Dan, kind of.
Yeah.
Tampa. There we go.
Boom, Tampa.
Oklahoma City, Fremont, Reno. Happy Friday, everybody. Where?
Queens,
Oh,
Colorado,
Queens.
Vegas.
Nice. Charlotte. Dude, from all over the place.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're outside of the United States, let us know where that. Wait a second. We've got Ernest, London, Ontario. There you go, Canada. Ernest,
Right.
I love it, man. I love it. All right. For those of you who don't know, Dan Stewart created Happy Grasshopper. He's also one of the nicest and funniest guys. Dan's a funny guy.
That's going to be, thank you. No pressure, right?
They'll ever meet. It's just that, dude, your humor's like, it's quiet. It's like, whoa. Dan's funny? That comes out of nowhere, dude. It's so good. It's so good. So I appreciate you, man. You've built something amazing with Happy Grasshopper. Can you talk just a little bit about that history of it so people understand what that is, and then we'll get right into it?
Yeah, sweet. So I can't even believe it, but we're about to turn 10 years in business.
Wow.
So like blink. Yeah. And I started this just as a little kind of a retirement project. Actually, how stupid is that, right? I built a CRM company that I hated, and I sold it back in 2010. And, so I played some golf, I went sailing, and man, that sucks. Like, it's fun for a little while, but you don't want to do it for a living, right? So everything I hated about that CRM company, I tried to fix at Happy Grasshopper. Like, what do people hate about their CRM, right? It can send a lot of stuff, but nobody wants to actually figure out what to say, right? It's hard to do that. It's hard to figure out when to say it and who to say it to, and keeping it all over. It's just a big headache. So, at HG, we solve those problems for people. We write and deliver content that just works. And, that's why we're here today, right? To talk about what works so we can help people get to more transactions, specifically 12 more. So, I'm looking at the chat here too, by the way. I'd love it if people can say if they're ready to get 12 more transactions this year. If you are, give me a yes. Let's have it.
Yeah, I need a yes. At least 12 more.
Boom. John says
what we're going to show you is pretty amazing.
Steve says yes. All right, cool. Heck yeah.
Where's Eric? I need a hell yes from Boston.
Yes. Boston.
I need a Boston yes.
Cool.
It's so good.
I see some yeses. I like it. I like it.
12 more transactions. There it is. There's Eric. And thank you everybody else for doing that. So the cool thing about what we're going to talk about is that the biggest challenge I see when it comes to, even in social media, Dan, but with CRMs, is that I actually have to go in there and take the time to email somebody out, to text my past clients,
right, sure,
to do whatever it is with my sphere. And the challenge gets to be here because I run a really big team, and I hear this all the time. It's like, now, I've got 5 one-agent. I've got 5 transactions in place, right? They're all under contract, but I can't do anything else. It's like, it takes up all of my time, right?
I mean, it's the feast. Oh my God, we're so busy. And then quiet. It gets quiet.
And that's the reality of our business, though. And that's why there are so many ups and downs, because we're so used to ourselves being the ones that take the responsibility to follow up, right? Whether it's emailing or texting or whatever it is. When we don't look for an outside resource to be able to leverage to do this for us, right? And so I think that's where you come in, Dan.
Hey, it might be. I might be able to help some people with that.
Maybe.
So, the reality though, Tristan, is like what you're describing is the feast-famine roller coaster. You know what you need to do to create business, right? Most agents who've been at it more than a minute know what to do to create opportunity. And then just like you said, you get so busy fulfilling, actually doing the work that you do, there's no time. And it's, you know, peak valley, peak valley, peak valley. So the way to get off that roller coaster is through automation. And of course that creates a bunch of other challenges because there's so many different systems. Technology is always changing. What worked today might not work tomorrow. It's not unusual that some agents are just like, I'm out. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to mess with it.
Well, things change so quickly, right? That's why things change like that. And then we're expected to go in and be like, well, we've got to change this and that. And okay. And then we have to do the process and set up the system. Are we still using the right tech? Should we change?
Right. Yeah. Right? Geez. So this person is in this zip code and they're searching in this other zip code at 3 different price points. OMG, it's so crazy. It's so crazy how complicated a database can get when really here's the aha moment. There's only 2 kinds of people alive. They know us or they don't, right? So your past clients in your sphere, they absolutely know who you are. And if you only send them IDX search updates, if you only send them like market data, they find you very ignorable. So people who know you, you've got to send content that shows you care, right? That's important. So what we're going to talk about today is, say again?
I said, that's hard to do because not only are you expecting me to go into my CRM, but you're expecting me to create content that's engaging, that takes time to show part of who I am. And I think that's a big challenge for most real estate agents, right?
Yeah, well, sure. Because you're trying to like build your airplane after you've jumped off the cliff. You get so busy, you know, I mean, here's the moment that everybody hates, right? You're driving home, you've just busted your butt all day, you're tired. And what do you have to drive right by before you pull in your driveway? Some other agent's sign in front of your neighbor's house. Yeah. Like, that hurts, right?
That does hurt, man. And I thought for a second you were going to say in and out, but I'm like, you're not in the West Coast.
Yeah, no. In Tampa, that means something else. Just saying. Trampa. Trampa. So can we dig into this, man? I'm excited to
I say we just go right into it and show what you've created, because it's the moment you told me, I was really excited, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're going to teach some people today. The whole goal is let's make an impact. So I'm going to share a couple of things here. I want to make sure that you guys can see this properly. Are you seeing a screen that says fast track to 12 transactions?
I am, man.
Is that what's up for you right now? Okay. Yep. So, I mean, let's not make this overly complicated. That's why we're here, right? We want the financial gain. We want 12 more transactions. And yet, let's also talk a little bit about why we want them. You know, there's a sense of security, a sense of well-being that comes when you get just enough water underneath your boat. You're not acting from desperation anymore. You're making, you know, really smart decisions to grow your biz. So that's where I like to operate from. I'm assuming that's where everybody else wants to be. So what we're going to do is put in a framework that's going to help you achieve this. And of course, the first thing that we have to do is just acknowledge something right now. Many of you are making this way harder than it has to be. Like, you're making it stupid hard on yourselves. You do not need to have a massive pile of cash. You do not need to have like super complicated systems to pull this off. What you really need is a framework. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a framework today, and I want you to know where that framework comes from. So, you know, Tristan talked a little bit about my company, Happy Grasshopper. We've helped well over 12,000 real estate agents, and that means we've sent hundreds of millions of messages. Okay, so that means we have all these different data points. We don't have to guess. Like, you know, Tristan, I'm sure you A/B test different things in your business, right? You've got different landing pages up, different subject lines, different calls to action. All that stuff gets measured, and we measure everything, and we have measured everything for almost 10 years. So, you know, what I'm about to teach you is what actually works. Okay, so this is what you need to do, and we call it the fast track framework, right? So
is that trademarked?
It is now. I just put the TM on today.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, I talked to a lawyer, said do that, and it's legal, right? So what's in this framework? We've got 29 to 41 touches per year, right? So, you know, a touch can be a lot of things. It can be you calling someone. It can be you popping by. It can be sending them a piece of content, an item of value, a text, an email, a voicemail drop, a card. It could be a ton of different things. We're going to make it simple and ask you to focus on 3 things. So the first part of this recipe is email. Email is a workhorse. Email gets it done. And when you send 17 non-salesy emails, this is important. Like, this is not a come to my open house, here's my new listing email. This is an email about something cool that's happening now that people are talking about. Like, did you hear about the discovery on Venus? Like, people are talking about that, right? Where there's this gas in the atmosphere that indicates there's microbial life on Venus. Like, man, right? People are talking about that. And if you reach out using something like that to start a conversation, it demonstrates that you care enough about them to have a conversation with them rather than just wanting to sell them something.
Yeah, but I have to write that, dude. That's the challenge, right?
Well, we'll talk about that. The 17, this number is important. That's once every 3 weeks over the year. And in 10 years of sending and testing, that gets the highest open rate and the lowest unsubscribe rate. Okay. So stop struggling with frequency, and also stop worrying about what day of the week or time of day you send. The most important factor in getting your email consumed and responded to is the relationship. Like, you know what? I'm a buddy of Tristan and Nick's. If they send me an email, I'm reading it because it's from them. Okay. So that group of people who really knows you, they're going to engage no matter what day or what time you send it. And that is the most critical audience that you can send messaging to. So that's the first component, is email. Next component is text messaging. So do you love text? Like, everybody freaking loves text. I love text. I use text almost nonstop throughout the day. And here we're talking about just 6 to 12 texts per contact per year, right? So not a huge number. So I'll break this down. The first kind of text, if they're your past client, it should be a transaction anniversary text. Like, you know what date the transaction took place. It's easy to, you know, have a tickler set up to where you can send that text. You should probably also have their birthday, right? So you send a transaction anniversary message and a birthday message. That covers 2 texts. And then once a quarter, I like to send something we call a lead harvesting text, right? This is where you're reaching out to them and you're actually asking for some help. Right? So if I get a text from someone and they're asking me for help and I know who they are, I'm engaging, I'm responding, right? And then of course we teach you that you should ask that person if they know anyone who would be willing to sell their house for a stupid amount of money, right? That's a way you can generate listings in a really tight inventory scarce market. Yeah. So that covers 6 of the 12, and the remaining 6 are holiday messages. So, you know, pick up to 6 holidays you'd like to communicate about. My personal favorite is Thanksgiving. I love to send out a little text just saying, hey, I want you to know I'm grateful for you. Have a great Thanksgiving. Let's connect next week, right? You get a nice little reply. You're moving on. You're back to your turkey and your football. So that's the second component of these types of sends. So emails first, text is next.
Can I share just a quick stat with you?
Yeah, jump in.
There was some research done by Easy Texting. It's a big company that did it in connection with another big company. It's eluding my name, but I do remember the stats, and that was when people receive a text, this is just text, not email, 10% respond within 30 seconds, right? That's pretty quick. 26%, I memorize these because I use them. 26% responded within a minute, and here's the best one. 34% responded within 5 minutes. So, and then after that, it goes down a little bit. But that first 5 minutes, you see how fast people respond to text.
Yep.
It's because there's something about it psychologically. When I see it come through, I'm like, damn it, I have to respond to it. Especially if you have an notification on that says you read it. you're like, now you feel compromised that you have to respond back. Right?
And I mean, you know what the other part of that equation is, right? Because if you're sending it using some software and you're not there to reply when they respond, like you're better off not even sending the message, right? Because it's like calling them on the phone and then hanging up when they answer, right? They expect you to respond to their reply almost as quickly as they did to yours. So, you know, you got to have a plan for that, right? You got to have a plan. And speaking of the plan, the next component is one of my favorite things to do for people who know you, right? Your past clients and your sphere, when you use ringless voicemails with them, it works incredibly well, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I'm not talking about sending a random message to a bunch of homeowners in a neighborhood, hoping they'll hire you. I'm talking about sending a message to people you know for things like their birthday, their transaction anniversary, right? Those quarterly keep in touch messages, those lead harvesting messages, and of course, holiday messaging as well. So, you know, this is the framework that you need to follow to produce these results. And, you know, you just rattled off some metrics, Tristan. I got some for you. Okay. If someone has 100 people who know them in their database, okay. This isn't like 100 people are going, who is this?
Random. Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's from Tristan. Cool. Right. If you've got 100 of those people in your database, there's 12 transactions per year there. Okay. That's what the math says. So let's review this, right? The goal is 12 more. Okay. So you need to work on building relationships with at least 100 people. And the maximum you'll need to get there is 250 people who actually know you, right? And you do not need like tons of uber complicated systems or a bunch of cash either. This does not have to be difficult. You just need that framework, right?
Yeah.
So you know what the number one challenge is for this, Tristan?
What?
The number one challenge to doing everything I just laid out is doing it. I mean,
the time to do this for each of these clients gets kind of difficult. That's the truth.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to do that. And we understand that, right? So Tristan and I have a little surprise for you guys today, right? So, you know, Tristan, I got to take a minute here, man. I just have to go back. Like, do you remember the very first LCA event way back in the day, right?
Dude, I'll tell you how it happened, and then I'll tell you yes. So first, yes, I do. The very first event was I did a webinar that was recorded for, at the time, Commissions Inc., before they sold to Fidelity. And it was me versus their best caller, right? And it was on online leads. And so we went at it and we let the audience decide. It's actually recorded, so you can look for it. And we went at it and I ended up winning. I crushed the people I called and I converted one live, right?
Yeah.
The owner of Commissions Inc. saw it and he says, whoa, this is super cool. And you guys have a cool group. At the time, it was like 10,000 people. Mm-hmm. Why don't you guys come over to our headquarters and we'll do your first event? And then at the time, I'm like, well, that's cool, but we can't afford to do that. Right? So that's when we reached out to Dan and we're like, Dan, well, you know, we love your company. Can we work together somehow and kind of like throw some love our way? So Dan and Happy Grasshopper, they created the pamphlets for us. On the back of them, I wish I had one here, dude, but on the back, it's like Happy Grasshopper on it. So you were like, yeah.
We put together these little workbooks for you. It was so much fun to like be there at the infancy when you guys were so small. Look how much has happened. Look at the size of influence you've created in the world. Like it's amazing. And I'm super honored to be part of this. It makes me feel really, really good to know that so much of your day is spent serving other people. I think that's really fantastic. And, you know, I am super, super excited to share with the world what we've been cooking up in the background, right? So here we go. Can we have a drum roll, Tristan? You got one for me?
Let's see if I can do this. I'm terrible at drum rolls, but here we go.
Yeah, all right. So we'll use it. We'll use that. So, yeah, let's just stop with the drum roll. Right?
You missed the end.
Yeah, I did. I missed the end. But here's the thing. Here's the important thing. Like we just said that the number one challenge to doing all this stuff is actually doing it. And, you know, so we talked about, wouldn't it be great if there was a way we could put together talent and technology such that it just happens for you. Like, that would be super cool. And we did it, right? We did it. We went ahead and we created this, and we call it LCA Nurture. So this is a partnership. It's a collaboration between Happy Grasshopper and LabCoatAgents, okay? So the coolest thing about this is if you're a LabCoatAgents member, you're gonna get access to this. We're going to invite you to get in here and to play around with this. And I'll explain how that works. So the first thing you need to do is join the wait list, right? LCA has a ton of members. We cannot serve everybody all at one time. So we want you to raise your hand. And those of you who are on this event right now, you're the first people in the world to know about this. So get over to happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture, and we'll add you to the system and send your login information. All right? How cool is that?
That's
and
awesome.
all you'll have to do once you get there is load up your contacts, right? You'll set up your account and you'll be ready to send your first message, okay? So little warning about doing this. I want to prep you for what to expect. This is not like other messaging services. When you send a message with us, you're going to get replies almost instantly, okay? So here's a message we got literally 2 days ago from Cassidy Chow. My first reply in just 12 minutes. I set up 3 contacts to test it, sent an email at 3:57 and got my first reply at 4:10. Amazing, okay? So I know you guys do a lot of the sort of marketing stuff that you feel like it's a 10-year diet plan. You're losing weight so slowly, your goal feels like it's miles and miles away. I want to reverse those expectations and tell you that when you send messaging through LCA Nurture, you're going to get responses from it very quickly, okay? So next step there and how it works is continuing to send over time. So we'll keep your messaging on track all year long for you, right? That's how that's going to work. You'll get a message from LCA Nurture telling you it's time to either choose a message, or you have the option of having us just send them out automatically for you, okay? So I'm going to share a little bit of data about this. Deliverability metrics are huge. 99% of everything we send gets delivered, right? That may seem like, why not 100%? But this is a monumentally amazing statistic. To get 99% of stuff delivered today is almost unheard of, right?
That's insane, dude. Even my newsletter, which I actually take time to curate, right? A Brilliant Tribe newsletter gets 43% open ratio, and I mean, I take care of them, but that's on another level.
99% deliverability is a big thing. Now, in terms of open rates, let's talk about this. If we look at Happy Grasshopper data across all of our members for all the time we've been in business, we have a 38.2% email open rate, right? That's more than double the industry average, or excuse me, it's nearly double the industry average. It's a big number. And just last week, we sent the first message for a new member. He had an 81% open rate, okay? So what we see is that when you send to people who know you, you get a much higher engagement rate than you do when you're sending to strangers. So, in this data, we've got like those old cold zombie leads that are getting messages. And we also have literally your best friend. Okay. Who do you think opens stuff more frequently?
Of course.
So in LCA Nurture, again, the whole concept is these messages are only for people who know you. So you'll see open rates that are above this is my expectation. Now, reply rates. I want to talk about this a little bit. So the reply rate for the email that we send is 10%. That's ridiculously great, okay? You're seeing 16% for text there. And, Tristan, the way you broke down the data before, I don't know what the time frame is for this. We might see that that's over a year, right? It's probably much higher in a small span of time. So these are the things that you should expect. I want you to be prepared. People will reply. You will get this sort of data. You will have a lot of conversations that lead to opportunity. And that is the whole thing. So we need to break that down. So looking at the value of this, if we look at what engagement creates for you in terms of dollars and cents, let's just grab some stats from NAR. They say average GCI per site is 6K. right? What is it in your market, Tristan? Higher?
Average GCI is just a little over 15,000.
Yeah, right. So 6K for a lot of you guys is, crazy lower than where you actually are. But if we just use that as a number for the purpose of running some quick math, if you did get 12 transactions over the course of the year, that's 72 grand, right? So, if we're laying out a framework for you that is proven to produce results and it produces those results for you, my question is, what's it worth, right? So, going a little further, if we look at 12 transactions, maybe that seems like pie in the sky for some of you. So, let's just throw those away and let's just hang on to one. We'll say over the course of a year, if this only produces one transaction, just one, my question would be, well, what would you pay for that? Like, how much would you pay for a 6K payday, Tristan?
Well, dude, I'm okay paying like $1,000. That's like, what is that? That's a lot more.
See, a lot of you are paying more than that. If you got a 50-50 split, you're paying more than that.
Yeah.
A referral, typically a 25% referral, that's costing you $1,500.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
I mean, this can add up. And when you look at those numbers, it's still way less than hiring a copywriter. So there's a great website I'm going to refer to here called Copy Hackers. Do you know Copy Hackers?
Dude, it's the first time I'm hearing it.
They're freaking great. If you have like a Silicon Valley backed startup and you need all sorts of conversion campaigns, you go to Copy Hackers, right? They have a whole network of copywriters that you can choose. And I went there looking for what it would take to have one of their writers prepare our kind of content.
Yeah.
And, it's about 10 grand, right? So
Whoa.
10 grand to send those messages over the course of a year. And then, of course, you still have to have a system to send it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot there, and at 10 grand, it would probably still be worth it though. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting 72 grand for a 10 grand investment, I'd say that's all right. That's like, what you put $1 in, you get $72 out. Did I do that right? $720 out. Like
720.
Right. So we're not asking for $10,000 to use this. We're not asking for 5,000. We're not even asking for 1,000. The investment to use LCA Nurture is just $47 to start and $470 for the year. Okay. So that covers the tech, the sending, the writing. It covers support if you need that throughout the year. And that is content for these 17 non-salesy emails. It's content for your text. It's content for your voicemail drops. Okay. So I want to do a little ROI calcs there based on that one transaction. If you were to get just one over the course of the year, that's a great return. That's $1 in, you get $11.60 out, right? Does that math make sense, Tristan? Following that?
I'm not really great at math, but it makes 100%. I'm joking. It makes sense.
All right. But seriously, the goal is 12. If you have 100 good relationships, you can actually get to 12. It's not impossible or inconceivable for you to do that. And if you got 12, think where that would be, right? You'd have your $72,000 in commission for an investment of $517 over the course of a whole year, right? That's almost a 14,000% ROI. So you put $1 in and the system hands you $139 out at that level, okay? And I know that sounds crazy, so I thought I'd show you a real life example. There's an agent in Houston, Texas named Randall Martin. Okay, so we sent a message for him just, I think it's a week and a half ago. This is happening like right now. And the message we sent is this one, right? There's a great example of an email that shows you care enough to keep in touch without selling them anything. And I know some people's screens may be so small, so I'll read it. It says, subject line, Blockbuster finally pivots. It reads, hey, did you see this? Blockbuster's last store is now an Airbnb rental. Ha! They set it up with 90s furniture, TV, VCR, and all the movies you can watch for $4 per night. And call me crazy, but I actually love this. It kind of makes me wish they had paid more attention to Netflix and pivoted sooner. And what we've just done is share something cool that people will talk about. And then we turn the conversation to real estate. Okay, so these last two lines. Speaking of real estate changes, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving, or even someone we could convince to move if they got enough money for their home? Right? So I want to see you guys in the chat. What do you think of this message? If you would send this, give us a yes. I want to see a yes. If you think we're crazy, write crazy. We're crazy. You wouldn't send this message. So yes or crazy. Go ahead and put that in the chat for us.
Let's wait for all those yeses and crazies. But regardless of which one you choose, I need you to go on the link and just sign yourselves up for that on the waiting list. Let me get the link. Hold on, I was looking for the
grasshopper.com/LCA Nurture.
There it is. I put up the link again. Do yourselves a favor, do that, because here's the difference between your emails that you're sending out versus the emails that we're going to create here for you so that they stay fresh. The difference is that this is going out to people that already know, like, trust you, right? Your past clients and that core sphere, those people that know you by your first name, right? This is who this is going out to. This isn't going out to all those new online leads that you just got or that random person that you met at an open house. The people that this is going out to are the people that you need to be nurturing and loving so that you can get those referrals that you've been missing out on because you haven't been taking care of them. And this solves that problem.
It does. It does. So it's so important to demonstrate that you care enough to keep in touch without a sales agenda. Okay. Now, the next slide here is the response that Randall got to this message. Okay. This is from the actual client who got this message. She writes back, hope that you, Vanessa, and your family are doing well. Your last sentence got me. Right. Then she talks about how they're getting different valuations for their home from Chase, from Zillow. They've been talking about maybe moving. Are you able to give me an idea what you could list for? Okay, right? And then she talks about some construction nearby. Will that impact the value, right? So how awesome is that? That is a fantastic reply. And that's just from one of the people that he sent this message to, right? So a few minutes, like about a half an hour later, he puts this on Facebook. Not kidding, just got a second email from a client that closed in 2017, been talking about moving to a larger one-story home within their neighborhood, right? She wants me to set up a search. If both of these alone were to pan out at all, we're talking between $1.5 and $2 million turnarounds for the sell buy on both. Not bad for an email, right? Not bad. So we talked about getting to 72 grand in commission over 12 transactions over a whole year. He's almost to 60 grand in just one send, right? Just one message. That's amazing. So I'm going to put that link on the screen here again. This is where you go, happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture. Again, you'll join the waiting list when you get there. Now, I see some people are asking questions. I want to preserve time to get there, but I also want to tell you that we're doing something that we haven't done before. This is pretty exciting. There's a special bonus for people who move quickly on this. So if you're one of the first LCA members and you choose the annual plan, right? You do have the option of buying monthly. If you buy the annual plan, we're going to give you Revaluate free. Okay, so how cool is this, right? And I know you know the guys at Revaluate, Tristan. This is awesome. They're a data analytics company, and they're crunching all sorts of data to figure out who in your list of people in LCA Nurture is most likely to move, right? They've won all sorts of awards for this. They've just done a really super job with it. And our integration with them is nearly complete. So that's going to be live here just in the next couple of weeks, and wow. I wanted to push that out and make it available just for the LCA fam. So that's what's coming, and again, here's that link. So now we can answer all the questions.
All right, let's get right into it. Dan, if somebody wants to reach out to you, how do they get a hold of you personally?
Dan at happygrasshopper.com is my email address.
Right.
Also, if you want to friend me on Facebook, you can reach out via Messenger.
Perfect. Got
Pretty
that.
easy to get in touch with.
Next question is one, I don't know where it disappeared to, but I want you to answer it because it's something that other people may be thinking here. Where to go? Why wouldn't we use this for online leads or every other lead that we have in our database? Why only specifically for past clients and sphere?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yep.
That's a great question. So a part of what we do at Happy Grasshopper is convert those leads that are generated. And we can generate business from like old, cold, dead leads. You know, all of that is possible. It's not possible with this kind of messaging. So, you know, let's talk about the difference in psychology. If I know you, if I'm your past client, if I'm your neighbor, if our kids go to school together and we're friends, it's weird if all I ever hear from you is about real estate stuff. Like, that's bizarre. You're my bro, you're my friend. I know I'd work with you if I had a need, and I'm probably referring people to you if I've worked with you in the past. Now, compare that psychology to the psychology of a typical online lead. Per NAR, they're registered in often as many as 10 different places. So they have lots of agents who are reaching out. And most of those agents are sending exactly the same stuff. Here's more market data. Here's a new listing. Here's a price change alert. Like, all of that just goes out automatically. And that person on the other end feels overwhelmed with choice because there's so much consistency in the content that they're getting. And yet there's so much variance between quality of agent, right? So if you want to convert those old cold leads and you want to do a better job converting the new leads that you're generating, you've got to teach them what your past clients in Sphere already love about you, okay? So there's no shortcut there. You have to communicate to them in a way that they go, now I see the difference. Now I know why I want to work with this person. And even if their deal is, 16, 18, 20 months down the road, we want them to have those kind of emotional connections being formed. So we handle that with our custom writing service. We actually have to assign a copywriter to you to interview you in order to create that content. But again, LCA Nurture, like, this is a plan that freaking works. You just need to roll this wheel for people who know you, right? So LCA Nurture for people who know you, and then custom writing for people who don't. Okay.
I love it. All right.
Cool.
There's another question. Hold on, let me grab it. Does it connect with a CRM or any CRM? What are the CRMs that it connects with?
Yeah, it actually connects with quite a lot of CRMs. We have integrations with hundreds of different systems. And are you still seeing my screen there? I wanted to put up this landing page where you register.
Join the waiting list.
Yep, that's where you just join the list. So yeah, we integrate with services like Command, Follow Up Boss, Wise Agent. Our Lion Desk integration is almost done. We're super excited about that. And what that means is that, if your contacts are entered in one place, they can flow through into another place. And depending on the depth of the integration, we can even push reporting data back out.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's super cool. And we need that, right? Because, I want you to think of LCA Nurture like a messaging service. It's a light CRM that's designed to house messaging that will create conversations with you. It's not like we're SpaceX trying to land a rocket on a barge here with the CRM. So I'd point you towards, more robust CRMs for that.
All right, good. Good answer. Good answer. Question from Lenny says, so I sent my contact info to LCA Nurture. He signed up for the waiting list.
Go, Lenny.
Will we be contacted so that he can sign up, or how does that process work?
Yeah, so you're going to get a email invitation that has your login credentials. So you'll just, you'll go to the link, you'll enter your information, you'll get your account set up, and then right before you send messaging, it's going to ask you to enter your payment information. And that's where you can choose to pay monthly or you can pay annually. And again, those of you doing annual pay, you get the Revaluate integration free. So boom.
I love that. I love that. All right. Rosie says, can the contacts be transferred to Command as well?
We integrate with Command via PySync, and PySync is kind of a full sync. It's not just a one way. So yeah, the answer to that would be yes.
Got it. Got it. All right. Amanda says, I'm a newer agent with very few past clients. Can additional contacts be added in the future? And is there a cap?
Great questions. So I would expect that you're regularly adding people. You know, as you go through life and you're meeting new people, having new conversations, I want you to be ready to say things like, hey, this has been so much fun talking with you. I want to stay in touch. Would it be all right if I grabbed your email? You know, let me take your info, right? You can pop those people into this system from your phone, and then they're going to be in touch with on the very next send cycle. So yes, you can add contacts over time for sure. And for this type of communication, the maximum number of contacts you can have is 250, right? There's something called Dunbar's Law where, you know, you can't really have relationships with more than about 100 to 150 people. So we're keeping that number at 250 because we don't want you to be tempted to load people who don't actually know who you are, okay?
Got it. Good answer. All right. Jesse says, do we actually get to see the content of the email or the text or anything prior to it going out to our contact?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll show you here. I'm logged into LCA Nurture here at the moment. So you'll get a message from LCA Nurture that'll say it's time to choose a new message. You'll click a link and you'll come here, right? Now, each of these messages that are available, you'll see that you have the ability to rate them. Some you're absolutely going to love. Some you might feel middle of the road. Some you might not like at all. And that's okay, right? I want you to send messages that make you smile, okay? So like here's this blockbuster message that I showed you guys earlier. Right? You have the ability to send yourself a test message. You can even edit that message if you'd like to change anything about it. You have the ability to do that. And like I'll go through here, I'll click on a few of these. Did you see this? Right, this is that message about Venus. I mentioned that earlier, right?
Nice.
So you guys can go through here. You can absolutely choose the messages that you need. You'll also, of course, be choosing text messages and voicemails. So for text, we have a library here. Like here, you'll see a birthday message, transaction anniversaries, out your way, asking for help, offering help messages. These are all super easy to set up and send. And, you know, I'll tell you what, if you send a text message like this, it's Dan, I was out your way this week and was thinking about you. How have you been? You're going to get a reply to that message when you send it to people who know you.
That's so easy, dude.
It's so easy. Yeah, it's so easy. So these are all put on a schedule. They go out regularly over time. You don't have to try to boil the ocean to make this work. Your voicemail drops. I want to touch base on these because I can write like a person. I can't do an impression of a person to save my life. So, you know, let's imagine you're setting up your account. We're going to want you to record a few voicemail drops that can just go out automatically. So like here, for example, I'll preview the birthday greeting. And it says, hey, it's me, Dan Stewart. Happy birthday. I hope I'm the first to tell you that this year. And you know what? I sure hope you're doing something fun for your birthday. Let's catch up soon, all right? Give me a call. Bye. Okay. So you record that once, and then when the system sees that it's one of your contacts' birthdays, it's going to send out that text message, or excuse me, that voicemail drop automatically. Now, if you're not familiar with a ringless voicemail, what that means is their phone does not ring. They just get a message saying they missed a call. They can read it. They can listen to it. And then, of course, if they, you know, that's your number that appears there. If they call you, they just call right back. So that's what the voicemail drops are all about.
That's awesome. I love how it picks up if it's their birthday, it'll automatically send it over.
Well, yeah, when you're loading your contacts in the system, there's a field there for their birthday. So, yep, we'll know. We'll just send the message.
Nice. Nice. All right. Rosie has a question for you.
Sure. Fire away.
She says, if we have more than 250 contacts, is there an additional fee to add more contacts?
That's a great question. So I would ask you, how you actually know more than 250 people. That would be my question in response to that.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that these people actually know you and are, if you're going with the past client route or mixing it up, make sure that these are real past clients and also people in your sphere that would know you and would maybe want to talk to you, possibly want to talk to you. If you're at the supermarket, they pull you over and be like, "Oh my gosh, how are you doing? Wait, I saw you were on Facebook. You were on this and this place, or how I saw your birthday or whatever." Just close, super close. And Anne has a question. When can we expect to receive LCA Nurture response?
Meaning replies from the messages?
Like in response to actually being able to sign.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, Tristan, you guys are giving us people to invite on a regular basis, and anyone on the landing page is going to get invited more quickly. So at the end of each day, we're going to compile that whole list of people, load them in our system, and you'll get your invitations. So your invite will arrive within 24 hours, if not more quickly. And you know what? I want to go back to that question about 250, because I like to push back a little bit and challenge the person. Do you really know more than 250? A lot of people are going to say, yes, they do. That's awesome. And of course, you can upgrade your package to do that. So the charge for that, it's on our website. I don't remember it offhand. It's not much. So what other questions do we have, Tristan?
We got quite a few. All right. So Lenny's got another good question. I got a call when you were speaking, but does it connect with Chime by any chance?
Okay. So I don't know actually if we have a direct connection with Chime.
Dan, I just reached out to their CEO as we're texting, as we're talking. And I said, hey man, does it connect? If it doesn't, we need to have this connect ASAP. So
well, api.happygrasshopper.com, super easy to do that. And we're also connected to Zapier. So we connect to a whole lot of different tools via Zapier and PySync.
So how about FirePoint? Does it connect with Fire? Is there a list of all of the integrations or no?
Oh gosh, we have hundreds and hundreds of them. So yeah, it gets a little, it's easier to say who we don't connect with than it's to say who we do. So
FirePoint, I'm pretty sure it's easy if it's not.
Yeah. So where the direct connection to these other tools is going to be super handy is in terms of the content that's gone out, right? So I'm going to get stupid geeky here for a moment. I'm sorry.
I like it.
You know what? A lot of CRM systems, whether it's Chime or FirePoint or you set it up to where your regular email inbox is synced with the CRM, right? So you might have a Gmail account, but you can check your mail inside your CRM, okay? And all of our replies from the messages we send out, they're gonna go right back to your regular inbox. So they're already automatically getting pulled into your CRM. Like, we don't need an integration to handle that part. Most of our clients who are running our custom lead conversion content at Happy Grasshopper, that's where the integrations are really valuable. Because, you know, a lead comes in to follow up boss and it's routed to one of 30 buyer's agents on a team. Well, we know to send lead response content from that particular buyer's agent, right? And then we can push reporting data back. So, you know, long story short, in the design of LCA Nurture, this is just going to run and work and do its job for you without being a big technical hurdle where you got to worry about connecting it to everything. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Another question for you. Rosie, good questions, Rosie, by the way. What phone number will appear? Our cell phone number or a different phone number?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great question, Rosie.
And what email?
Okay. So first thing we're going to do is come to text messaging. Now, we do need to establish a new phone number for you when you set up your account. So you just click select new, you pop in your area code, and our system's going to go through and give you a ton of different numbers that you can choose from, right? We need to do that to stay in compliance with the FCC. If we were to spoof your regular phone number, that could be a big problem. So we don't want to do that. Now, if they call that number, it's going to ring through directly to your regular number, okay? And a lot of these messages that we've saved for you, like the one that I showed you earlier, you know, hey, first name, it's Dan Stewart. Am I the first to wish you a happy birthday this week, right? We're identifying who you are in the send so that we don't have a challenge with them going, who's texting me, right? And let's also acknowledge it's 2020. People know you have more than one phone number nowadays. So it's not that big a deal.
Very true. Very true. All right. Good question. I answered the other ones on that end. And can we touch on, somebody said they're looking at on the left and they see handwritten cards.
Aha. Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah. Let's
you were
talk
trying to hide it from us, Dan.
Hey, I don't want to hide it. It's on the screen for a reason. Handwritten cards, guys. I've been writing handwritten cards for I don't even know how long, like at least 25 years of being in business. I've been writing these, and my parents always made us write cards to thank people for everything we ever got as kids anyway. So cool. You know, what we've done is we've loaded a whole library of cards you can choose from. So I'll just click select a card here, and we'll see a bunch of them are going to pop up. There's so many that they're categorized. So like here, I'll come to real estate, for example, and I'll choose this congratulations card, right? Maybe I've just had a listing appointment with someone, right? So anything that I type here in this box is going to show up inside the card. And these cards, by the way, look like you ran down a Hallmark, okay? They're not flimsy. It doesn't look like, you know, they were mass produced. It looks like a human being sat down to write it. So I'm just going to type a quick message here today. So happy we met today. You and your family are right to be excited about moving to Tampa. Can't wait to welcome you personally.
Love it.
All my best, Dan. Okay. So I've quickly just dashed together a message here, but I did it kind of intentionally. You'll notice words here like happy, where we have two P's, the letters don't match. Same here in personally, the L's don't match, right? And that's consistent no matter which of the fonts you choose for these messages, right? So the way these are produced, by the way, there's robots that hold pens and they write this on the card. Then it goes out in a handwritten envelope with a first-class U.S. postage stamp. So the cost for these cards, they're purchased a la carte. That card that I chose is $4.35 delivered. So including postage, printing, folding, taking it to the mail, to the post office. So
that's so cool.
Okay. Sweet. What else we got?
All right. Phil's got a good question. He's a current Happy Grasshopper customer. And, or well, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but Phil says on Happy Grasshopper site for the Nurture plan for up to 500 contacts, it says it comes with social media content. What does that social media content look like? Yeah.
So, my philosophy about social media content is it's a great place to start conversations with people, and maybe less valuable to place marketing material unless it's a paid ad, right? So the kind of content that we create for our members inside a Happy Grasshopper account, and Tristan, I know that, you know, we're not including the social content here in LCA Nurture. Would you like me to show what this looks like in a Happy Grasshopper account?
Dude. Let's take a look at that.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to log into a different account here. Let me pull that up.
Gives me time to text a few different people on Facebook answers. I'm just
cool.
Up. All right, good there.
All right. So what you see here, you know, I'm now logged into Happy Grasshopper as a Happy Grasshopper subscriber.
Perfect.
So here in the social media area, you're seeing we've got a bunch of different posts, and our writers refresh these once every 2 weeks. You'll notice an awful lot of them are on real estate related topics. But the idea is to create engagement about the topic, not to just like slap your brand on it and put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my favorite approaches, you know, as we're approaching Halloween, I want you guys to just steal this idea. You know, go on Facebook and write a message that says, would you live in a house that a murder occurred in, right? And pop some emojis around. You will get so much engagement on that you can't even imagine. And the strategy I like to teach for when that engagement happens, every time somebody likes it, every time somebody makes a comment, you need to like their comment, and then you need to DM them in Messenger. Hey, thanks for commenting on my post. How are you? Right? You want to take that into Messenger where you can create that conversation, chat with them a little bit, reestablish rapport, and then say, by the way, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving? Right? That's the question that's going to surface opportunity for you. So we teach a lot of this, by the way. I have a Facebook group set up at facebook.com/groups/what to say now. We answer questions there about what sort of communication can work in a given circumstance. We also teach some real life strategies. So, you know, feel free to jump over there, ask your questions, and we'll get them answered for you.
I love that, dude. Let me see what other questions we've got. Rosie's got some great questions. Let's see. This is like question number 4. Rosie, keep them coming. Do you offer this service for team members or teams as a group instead of an individual basis? What a great question, Rosie. I know Dan has an answer for that one.
Yeah, I do indeed. So first of all, I want to ask a question back. Are we talking about LCA Nurture? Because that's designed for a single person. You know, they can be part of a team, but each member on the team would need their own account because they're only communicating with people that they know. Now, you know, for 10 years, we've served individual agents, we've served teams, brokerages, and even national brands. So, you know, at Happy Grasshopper, we have solutions for teams, of course. And yet what we're trying to do with LCA Nurture is focus really tightly on helping that individual agent find success. And we're putting a number on it. Like fast track to 12 transactions is not a joke. Let's get 100 real relationships going, and that number is pretty small.
This is super narrow too, right? So it's this is it. This is who we're focusing on, which actually brings in the great question from Ann Abrams. Thanks for joining us. I cultivate both my SOI and other agents. Can I use this system as well?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely, Ann. The question you should ask yourself is, does the contact know me? If the answer to that is yes, you should use this with them. Whether they're another agent, whether you're a vendor you have a great referral relationship with, as long as they know who you are, they're safe to add to LCA Nurture.
Love it. So I had, can you refresh everybody's memory as to how much this is? Because some people joined in.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very affordable service. It's $47 to start and $470 for the year, right? So that's a total.
What was that? 400.
47 to start, and then 470 per year.
470 per year, but it comes with reevaluate, right? Reevaluate.
It does, yeah. Just for you guys, and you know, let's be honest. Reevaluate alone is worth more than what they're paying for the whole year. That is just an amazing thing to know that someone is likely to move. I mean, think of the quality conversation you can start with that person. Think of the quality that lead if you can really connect with them just as they're thinking about doing this, right? This thing called moving. Pretty cool.
I loved it. I love that we soft launched it like this. I'm going to do a quick video, probably like no more than 4 minutes, where I'm going to throw it into LabCoats over the weekend and do kind of like another soft launch. Awesome. And as we keep going this next week, so you're going to see this a lot more in LabCoatAgents. So you're going to be able to see, oh, got it. I see it. I'm doing this. And for the first 1,000 that jump in here, we have this special deal. Dan, is the reevaluate thing going to keep on going if people pay in full, or is that going to stop? I didn't.
Yeah, no, we're going to keep it going. And my philosophy as a business owner is never raise rates. So, you know, you start with us now, you're in there at 470, and 2 years from now, it's still going to include reevaluate. So
Perfect. And
yeah.
can you explain again what reevaluate is and what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. They are what we would call a predictive analytics company. So they're a bunch of really smart guys crunching a lot of data to figure out how likely it is that someone's going to be ready to move. Okay. So they pull data from all sorts of different sources, and then using statistical modeling and examining who's moved and who hasn't, they're looking for things that cause people to move. Like, for example, diamonds, right? People get engaged, they're likely to buy a home, right? So that's, you see a marriage license filed, that's someone who may be buying a house. Divorce, right? That's another D, right? These events are things that occur where there's a public record that causes people to be likely to sell. You know, transfers, promotions, there's all sorts of things that can trigger that. And they do a wonderful job of crunching that data so you don't have to.
That's right. All right. Good answer. Love that. Let me see what else I've got here. John says, can you include the Facebook group that were mentioned earlier? What was that Facebook group?
It's facebook.com/groups/what to say now.
Excellent. Got that. And let's put up the link one more time, and I think we'll call it a day, buddy. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. I'll just drag this over here real quick.
I'll put it into the chat.
So happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture. Pretty straightforward.
I love it. Phil said, thanks for the link to Copy Hackers. They love that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. I sent that to our team. I was like, whoa, guys, check this out. So thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's a great resource.
I love it. Dan, all right. So let's get ready for part 2 of this. I think we're going to start seeing people that are using it. I'd love to bring in people that are using it so we can be like, okay, so what are some of the results?
Yeah.
What are the things you're doing a little different? How have you tweaked this? What do you think? Is that good?
That is not only good, it's a necessity from my perspective. So, you know, we said that we would notify you when it's time to send a new message. Along with that notification, you're going to see some results that people have just gotten from the last send cycle, right? So we want to provide that positive incentive for you to dive in and do this because, you know, the evidence is so clear. We're 10 years in to creating content that causes transactions to happen. Like, we don't have to guess about this. We just need to incent you to move, to take action, to get your contacts in and to start sending, right?
I love that. Thanks, man. All right. I can't wait to part 2 so we can bring in the people and show how they're using it.
Well, I'm super excited, and I'm really proud and privileged to be partnering with you guys and bringing this to the market. You know, anything I can do to support any member of the group, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or to Happy Grasshopper. We want to be available. We want to serve the community. So thank you, Tristan.
Thank you, Dan. And thanks everybody for jumping on here, both in the webinar and in the Facebook group. And if you missed some of this, it's recorded and it'll go onto the YouTube channel by the end of the day, probably by Saturday if we miss the end of the day. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, likewise.
Bye-bye.
See ya.